Today I have the new Yamaha Gen 3 BR version today to show off a little bit. This is not an official review or anything like that, but yeah, so I picked this up about a week ago. I was trialing it. I ended up just buying it because the sound of this instrument is so great. This is the Chicago version of the BR. I'm not sure. I haven't played the New York version yet. I just really fell in love with this instrument right away and decided to keep it anyway. I didn't feel like I needed to compare with the New York, although I would like to play it at some point. So the difference between this version and the regular Gen 3 that's been out since I think 2019 is that this is fully made of brass. I guess that's what the BR stands for, but the top of the valve casings are brass. The caps are brass, right? And the whole lead pipe is also brass. So typically I believe it is nickel for the valve casings and the caps. I'm not sure about the lead pipe before, but nickel was pretty much the primary material for that. I have played the Gen 3 before. I felt it was a little stuffy. Great instrument though, always in tune, very reliable. But yeah, I decided to try this one out because I actually had the Bach Chicago. This was my C trumpet for the past 9 years, I believe. And, it's done me well and everything. I really enjoy it for solo rep, but when I do orchestral excerpts or anything in an orchestral setting, I just feel like it's not quite there. I'm not quite comfortable on it. I'm always kind of worried about where it's going to sit on each note. I feel like sometimes I play a note and it's sharp and I gotta lip it down. Other times I'll play a note and it's flat and it's like, what's going on here with this instrument? It just felt very inconsistent to me. So yeah, I'm just gonna play a little bit on each. One thing that I noticed right away with the Yamaha, this version is not stuffy at all like the other Gen 3. I feel like it has a very brilliant sound. I think that's how Yamaha describes it. It is not a bright sound. I hate using the terms bright and dark sounds. I feel like there is a lot of depth to the sound on this instrument. Yet it has some sort of sparkle to it that is it's not bright, of course, but it has a sparkle to it in the mid and upper registers. So I'm just going to play a few notes on each of these just to show you. Hopefully the mic picks up the differences. But yeah. So it has a very nice color to it. Again, not bright, has depth to the sound. I feel like there's core to it, despite it being made of all brass. And then if we were to use the Bach Chicago here, which again, I've been playing on this for about 9 years. So I know the instrument, its tendencies. I actually haven't played it in a few days, so we'll see how it is going back to this instrument. So it has a good sound as well. I would say it has a less brilliant sound. It has definitely less center to each note. I feel like the core isn't quite there. I feel like I'm not centered on most of my notes. And you'll actually probably notice on the low G that I played, that was very unsettling, trying to sit on that note. It was not, it didn't feel comfortable at all compared to the Yamaha. I feel like I can play good on a low G very, very easily, which is tough to do on a C trumpet. Usually the lower register is not quite as good as on a B flat trumpet. I feel like it just pops out on the low note. So the other thing about this is, of course, I mentioned earlier, intonation is great. I feel like at the top of the register, if I were to do an F major scale, playing without making any kind of adjustments. So the E's at the top of the staff, I don't have to use the alternate fingering for. Occasionally I do. And then I use the slide, the first valve slide. Again, I'm still kind of like getting used to the instrument. So, but I think I could really get away without using any alternate fingerings on E and E flat at the top of the staff. This instrument, on the other hand, this is again the Bach Chicago. You have to use alternate fingerings. I will show you without the alternate fingerings. So, not in tune. I wasn't trying to adjust either with my lips, but yeah, just not in tune. I think it really needs 1 and 2 at the top. But then again, if I use 1 and 2, then it brings out how flat D is as well right before. So it gets a little tricky, and then, you know, even when you use the alternate fingerings, it's just not quite centered. So it is, there is some value to not having to use the alternate fingerings, right? If you can play it without alternate fingerings, that will be much, much better. Another thing I just want to mention before I end this video, the articulation is phenomenal on this instrument. The response is so good, and I actually didn't expect that because of the reverse lead pipe. I used to have a Bach, I think it was a 229 bell, but it had a reverse lead pipe on it, and the articulation was not super clean. I played other reverse lead pipe instruments before too, and the articulation, because of the lack of resistance, typically the response is not quite as good. But I'll play the offstage Leonore call just to show you the difference between the two. So I feel like double tonguing is super crisp on this instrument. Triple tonguing is also really crisp on the instrument. I feel like every note that I play is very consistent. I'm getting the same B flat every single time that I articulate. Whereas if I play on another C trumpet, my Bach Chicago, I feel like I'm getting a different B flat every single time I articulate, which is very odd, but I thought it was a deficiency in my playing for the longest time that I worked on. But then the Yamaha Chicago really seems to have fixed a lot of it. So the multiple tonguing just does not get the same response between the two instruments. I feel like I really had to reacclimate myself to that just for a minute and really make sure my articulation was clean, because the Yamaha trumpet kind of did the work for me. I didn't have to focus on my articulation quite as much. So yeah, I think this is such a phenomenal trumpet. I'd recommend it to anybody, whether you're coming from Bach or another instrument. Check out the Yamaha BR version, because the sound quality is just incredible and everything seems to lock in, a lot of clarity. But yeah, if you have any questions about the instrument, I can do an additional review, more playing tests. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you'd like to hear or see anything. Thanks everyone.